Good evening, I'm Keisha Butts with a CTV News update. Well, it's official. Joe Biden is the Democratic nominee for President of the United States. Biden accepted the nomination in Wilmington, Delaware on the last night of the Democratic National Convention. His 25-minute speech was a call to optimism. And without ever mentioning him by name, Biden said President Trump has cloaked America in anger, division, and fear for much too long. He then offered his alternative.
United, we can and will overcome this season of darkness in America. We'll choose hope over fear, facts over fiction, fairness over privilege. I'm a proud Democrat, and I'll be proud to carry the banner of our party into the general election. So it's with great honor and humility I accept this nomination for President of the United States of America.
The Republican National Convention kicks off on Monday in Charlotte. Well, Maryland's COVID-19 positivity rate has fallen slightly and now stands at 3.08%. 455 people are currently hospitalized. Meantime, health officials today report 670 new COVID cases and 5 deaths. Maryland Congressman Jamie Raskin has helped write a song he hopes will replace the state song, My Maryland, My Maryland. Here's a sample of Raskin's song.
Maryland, my Maryland, I'm coming back again. From the western mountains to the ocean city shore, Rockville to Baltimore.
Titled Maryland, My Maryland, the Free State song, Raskin collaborated with Steve Jones of the D.C. Labor Chorus. Raskin introduced the song at an online meeting of Democrats as part of the DNC. The song features Jones on piano along with Northwestern High School student London Meva on vocals. While the current state song urges Maryland to join the Confederacy, Raskin's tune pays homage to famous Marylanders including Thurgood Marshall, Frederick Douglass, Edgar Allan Poe, and the late Elijah Cummings. Efforts to replace the current state song have been going on for decades. Lawmakers will decide in January whether to repeal the song and, if so, whether to replace it. We are continuing our coverage of the women's suffrage centennial. Patricia Vallone tonight tells us about a young Chinese advocate who rallied for women's right to vote in the United States.
Born in Hong Kong, Dr. Mabel Pinghua Lee immigrated to the U.S. in 1905. At 16 years old, she helped lead a march for women's suffrage, riding on horseback, followed by 10,000 people. Lee urged the Chinese American community to promote girls' education and the right to vote. In 1917, New York passed legislation giving women that right, but the Chinese Exclusionary Act banned Chinese nationals from citizenship and voting. She continued her fight for women's rights until the act was repealed in 1943. Lee never married, but managed to maintain economic independence. In 2017, a post office in New York's Chinatown was renamed in her honor.
Police in Anne Arundel County revised their policies on the chokeholds. They are now banned unless used in the defense of a person's life. The department is facing a lawsuit by a man claiming he was illegally arrested and placed in a chokehold. County Executive Stuart Pittman says he's satisfied with the policy change. If you run a nonprofit and find it challenging to keep your doors open because of the pandemic, help is available. Maryland officials have extended the application deadline for a special program. It's called the Maryland Nonprofit Recovery Initiative, and the deadline has been extended to September 1st. Grants up to $50,000 are available for operational support. For details, visit dhcd.maryland.gov. A growing number of people are starting to question a plan to create a public-private partnership to build new schools in Prince George's County. The multi-million-dollar P3 initiative was previously estimated to cost $30 million a year for 30 years. Yet there is growing concern among board members and a government watchdog group that those figures will be higher.
These projects are very expensive and they haven't been done in the United States, so I wouldn't be surprised if the initial estimate that was put on this project has not gone up in the last year or so, as they've been kind of digging into the details on how they're actually going to procure this. Just because, again, this is unprecedented. And the other thing I'll highlight, I think the question around the price tag brings up one of the other large issues with public-private partnerships is they tend to be more secretive. They tend to be signed behind closed doors because they are a new style of procurement that hasn't been done before, particularly in schools in this case. So there's no precedent in terms of legislation.
The school board is scheduled to give a public update on the P3 initiative this afternoon during its virtual retreat. County parents, students, and teachers will see a new face on the Board of Education this year. Meet Nina Jackson. She is the new student member of the board. Jackson wants to make sure that English language learners, special education, and low-income students receive the tools they need as virtual learning begins this fall. The Oxon Hills senior also wants to shed light on the importance of student mental health. Meantime, applications to join the student member of the Board Advisory Council are due tomorrow. Students from grades 6 through 12 can apply. The deadline is this Saturday, August 22nd at 11:59 p.m.
We hear it all the time, but there definitely is a stigma, kind of a cloud that surrounds the issues of mental health, especially when you talk about Black and Brown communities. It's kind of frowned upon or not exactly encouraged to speak out about, your mental health issues and your battles and what you're going through. And the first thing is sharing with students that this district has some wonderful resources available to us to utilize if you have concerns that you need to address. I think second to that is also ensuring that we have that we do have a robust mental health system in place for our students, right? Making sure that we have an adequate amount of not only school counselors for our socio-emotional learning, but also making sure that we have the proper amount of school psychologists, school psychiatrists, and making sure that our wellness centers, which we have 4 or so in this county, are well stocked with the proper individuals to fulfill the needs of our students.
A county school board member is facing some scrutiny following an ethics complaint. The complaint involves Brian Swan, who represents District 4. Swan was on the school district webinar back in March when he reportedly promoted his campaign. The ethics panel says he used the school system's resources to promote the event. An ethics panel has recommended that school board privately censor Swan. He is currently running to keep his seat in November. Expect some traffic delays this weekend if you travel the Route 210 corridor. State highway officials are beginning work on a new overpass at Route 210 and Kirby Hill Road. Work begins Sunday, August 23rd, so expect lane closures. Well, 2 Montgomery County teens are giving back in a huge way. They started delivering groceries to family members to help out during the pandemic, but those good deeds weren't enough, so they created a free teen to seniors grocery delivery service.
Drew mentioned to me that he had to pick up some groceries and a prescription for his grandparents, and I told him that I've been doing the same thing for the last few weeks in parallel. And then at that point, we sort of thought for a minute, and Drew posed the question, what about people who wouldn't have grandchildren or relatives or friends who could do the shopping for them?
Meet Drew Pye and Matthew Casertano. They founded Teens Helping Seniors while grocery shopping for their grandparents during the pandemic.
For my own grandparents, they were over the age of 60, they've had respiratory complications in the past. And so when I was just reading the news, I saw that, if they contracted the virus, they could potentially be hospitalized or worse. And this was really just, an unbearable scenario for me. And I wanted to avoid that at all costs.
The two friends also wanted to help other people, so they started a contactless delivery service that helps the elderly and vulnerable populations. All you have to do is fill out a form online, and a volunteer will deliver your groceries.
Funny, that we dropped off just now at your front door. Everything that you requested in your grocery order. Instead of these seniors or other vulnerable populations having to go out and get their groceries and kind of have to make a trade-off between what they need and their personal safety, instead, from the comfort of their home, they can get what they need.
So far, they've made more than 1,600 deliveries. What started as a program only available in Montgomery County has grown to 27 chapters nationwide and Canada.
It really provides a lot of meaning and purpose to know that we're making such a big difference.
We have received extremely positive testimonials and glowing feedback from a lot of our seniors, to the point where, a senior requests that a volunteer does their delivery every single week, a specific volunteer. And our seniors have kind of formed, heartfelt bonds with our volunteers.
The pair say Teens Helping Seniors is also a mental health support network, and they plan to extend the services even after the pandemic. For more information or if you wish to volunteer, visit teenshelpingseniors.org. The head coach of the Washington football team has been diagnosed with cancer. Coach Ron Rivera has squamous cell carcinoma, also known as SCC, which is located in a lymph node. The cancer was caught at an early stage, and he is expected to make a full recovery. The home team released a statement saying, quote, "The Washington football team wishes Coach Rivera a speedy recovery, and we will be supporting him every step of the way." His rookie year was spent recovering from a knee injury. Now Bryce Love is healthy and ready to compete for a job with the Washington football team. A well-regarded running back out of Stanford, Love has received high marks from the coaching staff.
I look at it as everybody's kind of in the same situation. I mean, I am a little bit of a step behind in the sense, I didn't get to play last year, so that's even more time. But again, I was looking at it from the bright spots, being able to take even more time to rehab and more time to get in the playbook. I looked at it as an opportunity to compete. Coach Rivera says all the time that people who took advantage of that time will already be ahead when it comes to these times now. So, I really wanted to take advantage of that.
He's shown that he can run the ball inside, he can run the ball outside, he can run it from the gun, he can run it from the dot. A lot of things that we do fit what he's grown up in as a college player. So we think we can take some of those elements and incorporate them with him when he's in the ball game. So he's a guy I think that is going to continue to grow, and if he does and shows what he's capable of, he'll get an opportunity. These past few days, we've done past pro reps and things like that, and being able to sit that down kind of just added to the confidence level of knowing that I could take tackles from different angles and things like that. It's just going to be surreal to be in the first game, but I probably won't be thinking too much about the first tackle. I've always just been focused on being the best version of myself and letting the chips fall where they do. I want to be able to go out there and compete. I want to set records on the offense. I want to score a lot of touchdowns like everybody does on the team and find a way to contribute to the team's success. That's always been my mindset, and, I'm excited for it.
Bryce Love is a native of Raleigh, North Carolina. And that's it for CTV News tonight. We leave you tonight with a new proposed Maryland, My Maryland State song written by Congressman Jamie Raskin. It's performed by Northwestern High School student London Meva.
Maryland, my Maryland, I'm coming back again. From the western mountains to the ocean city shore, Rockville to Baltimore, Maryland, my Maryland. Frederick Douglass threw off slavery's chain. The free state began to find its name. Harriet Tubman built a secret lane, said, "Come on board this freedom train." Maryland, my Maryland, I'm coming back again. From the western mountains to the ocean city shore, Rockville to Baltimore, Maryland, my Maryland. Rachel Carson told of the silent spring, of a time when birds no longer sing. Restore the Chesapeake for me and you, and all the Orioles will come home too.